Hi everybody, this is Craig Faniani from the Sacramento Jazz Education Foundation, and this is going to be follow-up again from our second lesson. So we thought we'd do some Q&A and see how you do. If you have any questions, please make sure you get in touch with me, and I'm glad to, do some correspondence with you or whatever, figure this out. It's kind of complex stuff, but really, really great information. So let's get started. What are the 1, 4, and 5 chords in the key of E flat? Okay, first of all, you know what the 1 chord is in the key of E flat. It's E flat. Now, a couple really good paths for you. One is count up in your alphabet. So you know you're going to have E, F, G, A, B, those letters. And then if you apply the flats, you know that there are 3 flats in the key of E flat. So B flat, E flat, and A flat. Well, it happens to be your 1, 4, and 5 because it's just about the alphabet and then knowing what the key signature is. Another thing you can do if you remember is you can take a look at where E flat is on the circle, and the notes on either side of it are your 4 and your 5 chords. So if you look here, you'll see here's E flat, and then it's straddled by your 4 and your 5. Okay, so that was an easy one, I think, I hope. All right, next question. What's the 3 chord in the key of A flat? The 3 chord in the key of A flat. Here's the way I'd work this one out. Lay down your alphabet. A to A. Then we find the key signature for the key of A flat. We find that it has 4 flats, B, E, A, and D, according to the circle, of course. So then we see what the scale looks like. Now, according to this diagram that we had in the last lesson, you can see how the numbers and the Roman numerals line up. And you can see that the 3 chord is always minor. All right, so if we take all that information, we find out that we have the A letters, we have the flats in there, and then we look for the 3rd, and we know that the 3rd is always minor. The 3 chord in the key of A flat is C minor. Okay, now we're going to revisit some of those relative things, all right? So the next question is, which major key has 4 sharps? So the first part is easy. It's you just count it over on the circle, and you find that if you go over to where it would be 4 sharps, it's the key of E. The next part of the question is, what is its relative minor? Well, there are a number of ways to get there. But first of all, the relative minor is always 3/2 steps below the root of the scale. So if you count down from E, you're going to get to C sharp. Or you could count up to the 6th note of the scale, and you'd get to the same place. That's cool. The other thing you can do is go back to the circle and go clockwise 3, and you'll get to the same place. So it's just a matter of finding out what is the 6th note of that major scale, and that's where the relative minor is going to be built. And it'll be starting on that note, and it'll just be all the same key signature as you would do for the regular major scale. Okay, here's another one. What minor key has 2 flats? And what is its relative major? Okay, here's an interesting way to do this. You know, if you take a major scale and add 3 flats to it, you get a minor scale. All right, so let's find out how we can get a minor scale with 2 flats. Remember that flats negate sharps. So we have to start with 1 sharp, and if we add 3 flats to it, we get 2 flats. So when it says what minor key has 2 flats, it's going to be G minor because G major starts with 1 sharp, and then we add the 3 flats to it, and we end up with 2 flats. Now, you're probably skeptical, but as I was saying in another lesson, you got to trust this thing because it works every time. So if you add 3 flats to 1 sharp, you get 2 flats. All right, so now we're talking about a G minor scale. G minor is the relative minor. It has 2 flats. So what we're really looking for then, for the relative major, is what major scale has 2 flats. See how easy that is? So we're looking for the minor and the major that have 2 flats. Well, you probably know what the key is that has 2 flats, the major key that has 2 flats, because a lot of you have dealt with the key of B flat for various reasons. All right, so B flat has 2 flats, and we can find that from the circle as well. So the major key with 2 flats is B flat. The minor key with 2 flats is G minor. So those are relative major and minor to each other. They're in the same family, and that's how you get that answer. Last set of questions. We're going to spell some chords. Spell some chords. Okay, there are a lot of ways to find chords. One of them is just to sit at the piano and sound them out, because a major chord, the 1, 3, 5 in any key, is going to have a certain sound to it. So is a minor chord. So you want to kind of get used to hearing things and knowing what they are. But let's use the system. Okay, so we're looking for a G minor. Well, let's lay out the alphabetical notes, and we know that we're going to use the 1, 3, and the 5 of a scale, whether it's the major scale or the minor scale, to get the major triad or the minor triad. We're looking for a G minor. So we know that G major is the 1, 3, 5 of the major scale, which has one sharp that doesn't have anything to do with the 1, 3, 5. So let's just put that down there, GBD. And then we make a minor scale from the major scale by lowering the third. There was a diagram for that in lesson 1. So it's going to be G, B flat, and D for the G minor scale. Next, we're looking for B flat major. What's the key signature for B flat major? We just found out it was 2 flats. Okay, so put a B flat on the bottom, and then do the D and F hold. The other flat is an E flat, doesn't come into play for what we need, so it's just B flat, D, and F. Our next scale is F sharp major. Use your circle and go around and find out what's happening with F sharp major. I think it has 6 sharps. It has a lot of sharps. All right, pretty much means that everything's going to be sharp. So you might imagine then, as if it's going to be F, C, G, D, A, E, all those sharps. I just named all the notes that are sitting there in that triad. So it's going to be F sharp with an A sharp and a C sharp. And the final one is F minor. And alphabetically, again, we're on F, skip the G, go to A, skip the B, and go to C, F, A, C. And F major has a flat. If we look at our circle, we find that F major has a flat. So how do we make a major scale minor? We add 3 flats. So then we're going to have 4 flats, B, E, A, and D. Did I say any of those names that we have down there? Yes, I said the A. So it's going to have an F natural, an A flat, and a C natural. So F, A flat, and C for that one. Okay, how'd you do? I would like to encourage you to communicate. And if you have questions about anything I said today, or you would like to have other things explained, please communicate and let us know what's going on with that. The more you do this kind of thing, the easier it's going to be. I had no idea how much I rely on the alphabet for building things and spelling things and whatnot. So that's a really, really good thing to think about. And I don't think people think about that all that much, but it's a really good tool to find out where you are. And it'll really come in handy when you're doing transposition. So that's kind of where we are. Appreciate you listening and taking part and learning and enjoying. This is Craig Faniani from the Sacramento Jazz Education Foundation, signing off. See you soon.